Alright, you ready? Woo! New setup! New setup! What? My light doesn't work? New setup! New setup! Yep, ladies and gentlemen. I desperately need a haircut, but we've got more important things to go over. This right here is the brand new setup. This still needs to be moved. Here we are with, what is this? 2026 studio setup. Still living at home. Now, I'm just gonna preface and say this isn't the most perfect setup. I've got everything lined up properly as far as the desk, everything behind me, but the lighting and how I shoot is still a work in progress. But before we get into that, I want to say a huge thank you for 10,000 subscribers. That's pretty fucking awesome. I've always wanted to be a YouTuber. I mean, I know everybody says this at some point, but I honestly really wanted to become a YouTuber. I love making videos, especially long form stuff. I hate doing reels. I seriously hate doing Instagram reels, but YouTube videos are always really fun. Being able to explain stories, my process, and not having to worry about the numbers as much is so nice. So where was I going with this? Yeah, 10,000 subscribers. Very, very awesome because it is basically one step closer to my dream of becoming a YouTuber. And boy, do I want that silver play button. It'd be so awesome. Yeah, road to 100k, that's definitely where I want to go. That would be so awesome. With all that waffling out the way, hang on, will this look better if I turn? That looks much better actually. With all that waffling out the way, let's get into what you came for, and that is the studio setup. Without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, how do I film? Now, I always go with the Ulanzi bicolor light. I've got it set up just above my monitor for now. I mean, it seems to be doing its job pretty well. I always use it for my studio stuff. And then I shoot on the Canon R8. I did a gear tour a little while ago, so I'll leave that linked up here if you want to see all the gear that I used. Now, it's really important that I preface that this was not made in one day. This setup has been a process that has taken pretty much 7 years. If you look at the process from 2018 till now, you can slowly see the evolution of my studio setup. Yeah, I just wanted to preface that. It's not something that I just came up with one day. I'm not a genius like that. Last year, we were getting close, but boy, there was still so many improvements. The chair, for instance, that was falling apart at the seams. We had a 15-year-old mouse keyboard that was 6 years old. Yes, these things work to a certain degree, but boy, they were falling apart, literally. So yeah, we improved all of that. All right, let's get onto the desk. The desk is very important. This desk was very kindly donated by my brother. It was his old work desk, and it just fits this room very nicely. It's a lot bigger than I had last year. I'm able to fit a lot more stuff, have a bit of space to build Lego, of course, you know, the necessities. It's got a really nice tabletop. Now, it's got a history to it. It's got little scratch marks. It's got, like, you know, coffee stains. It's got paint marks and stuff. It's got history to it, which is really awesome. Genuinely, like, having history on a desk is so much cooler than buying a new one. Now, with the keyboard and mouse, probably one of the biggest upgrades is the Logitech keyboard and mouse. Very nice keyboard and mouse, just standard, really, nothing too special. The most important part of any desk, I think, is the decorations, the things that you put on the desk. Now, all these things have their own meaning and are really, really important to me because this is a space I want to be creative in. So I want to have things on the desk that are distinctly me. For example, I've got, you know, Bilbo Baggins, a very exclusive figure here. I've got Pete's Pirate Life little coin pouch. I've got Dane Ironfoot's helmet, a Weta Workshop prop, which is freaking awesome to have on this desk. Also got the figure right next to him for comparison. Got a little compass from World War II that used to be my great-grandfather's. Got a little guitar pick. This is my very first guitar pick I ever got back in 2012. So I found that in storage the other day, and boy, did that bring back some memories. This is very cool, this. So yeah, I just got another few other little miscellaneous things that mean a lot to me, and I think that's really important when you have a studio or a desk that you work at consistently. You want something that is distinctly you. And then I just have my PC underneath the desk. I mean, there's nothing too special there. It's just PC I got back in 2018. Probably need to upgrade that thing, but it works. Then off to my left, I've got a little nice organizer for all my Lego, from different colors to minifigures and all that sort of thing. Got my film prints on the wall, which are really nice. These are probably my favorite photos I've ever shot on film. Got those back last year. Got to make the studio your space, so these are very important prints, and I have them kind of off to the side because, yeah, they just look really nice there. Got a nice little shelf on the windowsill here of basically all my favorite characters, exclusive characters, or Lego characters that I think look freaking sick. Then moving on to the background. boy, we got some cool shit here. I'm not gonna lie. So this first part, which you can't really see, is my very first glass cabinet. Obviously, if you're a Lego creator or a Lego collector, you know dust is a son of a bitch. Finally able to have a bit of space to move this in. If you saw the last setup tour, you know that, well, if you saw any video before this, you would know that I had a freaking single bed behind me, but now I've got a queen bed, but still single. But I've got this set up so perfectly now. So on the top, I've got quite a few Widow Workshop items that I just absolutely love. They're so freaking sick. Now the first shelf is very special as it's kind of like a shelf of memorabilia. First off, the little set behind it I got with a gift with purchase for attending the VIP Lego Sylvia Park opening a couple weeks ago. And that was really awesome to get invited to. As a Lego creator, being invited to an event that is local to me, that is part of the actual Lego group, was really awesome. So I've got the set sealed and I've got it in that little shelf. Got a really nice story to it. And then obviously I got a little passport with it as well, which was really cool. Another thing is I got a little gift with purchase from Lego Star Wars, which was back in 2024. Kind of cool. Then of course I've got the one ring, which is very awesome. Then next I got a very special piece, which is my gift with purchase I got with the Lego Shire set. Now this is very important to me because it was basically my first collaboration with Lego. And the first time I ever worked with Lego, which was really awesome and a very pivotal moment in my career, if you would like to call it that. So that's why I've got it in that little case. And then just below that, I've got a little gold minifigure which my mother gave to me as a birthday present, just as a commemoration for the Lego collab, which was very, very sweet of her. Then just below that, I've got some Lord of the Rings sets. You might see a bunch of wires. That's simply because I use Brixmax, which is a lighting company. I'll use them for my Lego photos, which is always very, very fun. Then below that, I've got some Lego Star Wars sets and also a Lego Star Wars lightsaber provided by Sabers, which if you follow my Instagram, you would have seen a lot of. And if you want to get your very own and 15% off, use the link in my description for that. It will give you a nice little discount and it also helps me out a ton. And it's very freaking cool. Then lastly, just below that, I have got the Hobbit set, which is probably one of my most nostalgic Lego sets, and just for having the big dragon and also just, you know, the Arkenstone and all that. It's one of my favorite Hobbit sets for sure. It was really fun to build and a very nostalgic set, so I had to go in the cabinet. So just behind me and on the wall, we have got my prints. Actually, before the prints, we have got Dwalin's axe, or one of Dwalin's axes, as I don't really have space for the other one. I've got two. So basically, to hang this up, I just got some hooks from Bunnings and spray painted them black, and then just screwed them into the wall, and it, you know, used a mallet to mold the hook around the handles, and it worked out pretty good. I was surprised how well, or how nice it looks on the wall. And then of course, just below that, I have got my prints. Now the first print you've probably seen a million times before. That is the astronaut photo. Then next to it is the Barrador photo at Mount Narahoe, or aka Mount Doom. That was a whole project that I was super proud of, so obviously I wanted to have that printed out and displayed. Another print that I'm really proud of is my Real New Zealand print, which I did back in 2024, which raised about 1,000 New Zealand dollars for conservation efforts down in Doubtful Sound in the South Island of New Zealand, which was really, really cool. And if you might see like a little white paper, that is just the plane ticket. I've got it flipped because it has some sensitive information on there and I don't want to have to blur it every time I do a video. But yeah, that's just that part. Now, probably one of the biggest upgrades to this studio is the frickin' IKEA shelf. It's just perfect. As soon as I saw this, I knew I was going to be buying it because it's exactly what I need. So starting at the top, we have of course got the Shire set, which is just a neat little set, and then it goes Rivendell and Barrador. I mean, I think all of you have seen these sets a million times, and yeah, it's just really nice being able to line all of them up like this. And it also works as a really nice background. I do think I want to get a little bit more lighting for it though, because it does seem a little bit dark in some areas, but that'll be something that we work on a little bit later, I think. And then in the first shelf, I've got a little bit of space for the Shire set to slot into after I buy the Minas Tirith set. I've got on pre-order, which is very lucky, so I cannot wait to build that and have that set up just behind me over here. So yeah, I got some racing car sets. Obviously, I've got the Batman set, the original Hobbit Hole, and the Ninjago Temple, which is one of my favorite sets from this year. Then moving on to the middle shelf is all my Star Wars Lego sets, or most of them at least. These shelves are so nice, like it displays everything so well, and it's really easy to access. You just push the door, it opens, and you can access all your things very easily. And then the last shelf is all my cameras and gear, so if you're looking to steal it, It's that one over there. Starting at the bottom is my miscellaneous items such as, batteries, lighting, tripod shoes, smoke machines, just sort of the stuff that I don't use all the time. So yeah, that bottom shelf is just kind of a throwaway. In the middle shelf is really nice. I've got all my cameras, from my film cameras to my very first DSLR, Insta 360 cameras, point and shoot cameras. And yeah, it's really nice to have them finally all on display rather than them tucked away in a shelf, because each camera in there has its own story and is very, very important to me. And then in the final shelf, we have got my two lenses, which is the 85mm and the 100 to 400. Yeah, that's a nice little shelf to have everything stowed away. Keeps the dust off, keeps them displayed nicely, and it's just easy to basically reach and grab what I need, which is perfect. So yeah, like I said, this is still a work in progress as far as the lighting and also the camera setup goes. But for now, I think this is pretty close to what I was imagining when I first moved into this specific room almost 3 or 4 years ago now. But yeah, if you see the evolution of my setup, you see the slow progression from really to a little bit better each time. So yeah, I'm super stoked to be able to call this my studio because, I had a bed in the background, and, having a place you sleep 2 feet away from the place you work almost all day I don't think it's very healthy. So being able to have that disconnect is really nice. Today's video is just a fun one, show off the new studio. The background's looking so much nicer. Just look at that. Just look at that. It looks so much better with a bunch of lighting and stuff as well. This was the 2026 studio tour. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you again for 10,000 subscribers. If we reached 100k by the end of the year, that would be absolutely insane. I have got a giveaway on the way, by the way. That was a lot of ways. So make sure to stick around for that. Hopefully next week I'll be able to announce it, and also reviewing your photos. It's going to be I'm not going to say anymore. Thank you very much for watching. This is the new studio for 2026. Who knows what it'll look like next year. Hopefully I would have moved out of home by now. But yeah, that is the setup tour. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share, do all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video. I have to kind of shuffle a little bit more to get closer to the camera and say goodbye.